practice going to be when we start?
We're expecting
Manny, how did Talbot's read that though? Yes.
He went well. He went 4 innings and 3 6 and 3 pitches. Threw all these pitches. No problem. He's going to come up here to Cleveland, be seen again by Ronnie and take his temperature and then go down there and continue his rehab. We don't know how many he'll need, but we're anticipating probably 2 more. He's not going to do every one of them out there. No, we probably want him to do the last one in Columbus to face the national competition. We haven't decided yet.
Correct. Will we get any sort of pitch limit? We'll see what we can do.
He's good. He threw the ball well. Well, he got better the last 2 outings. The first one, he struggled a little bit with his mechanics and his velocity wasn't there because one thing relates to the other one. But especially the last game in Oakland, we felt that he threw the ball well and his velocity was back up. He stayed at 91 most of the time. He did well. I think it's good for us to have a guy like him right now as depth, even when we know he's so young and he's probably part of the future.
What are your early impressions about Alex White?
And he's a great competitor, and he's got a tremendous heartbeat out there for a guy who just got called up, a guy who's just been 2 years out of college. So that first game here against Detroit, he showed it, and then the other day, it takes a lot to go out there and face a guy like Jarrett Weaver, when the whole world is probably banking on Weaver to beat you, and he took that as a challenge and went out there and shut him down and gave us a chance to win the ball game. And when he got in trouble, he never got rattled, and actually he reached down and that last batter and threw a fastball in the mid-90s to get out of the jam. So, he's been impressive so far.
Maybe when you put together a streak like this, 13 straight, you narrow it down to 1 or 2 things and just basically playing good baseball?
We're playing good baseball overall. Even on the road when we've been playing around 500, we had them between being every game and we win most of them. The home thing, everything plays better at home. Especially if you're a very good team, you can look it up. But we feel good. We feel comfortable, but for the most part, we pitch and catch the ball whenever it's gone. And here, in the stadium, we feel comfortable. I like the team winning with it, especially when I'm all in that. And we get to do our extra work at our own pace, and that helps. But for the most part, we have played good baseball.
What surprised you the most about the season?
About the season?
Yeah, how your team's played.
How my team has played? Nothing has surprised me. It surprised me. And it doesn't surprise me that so many people that are far away are calling us a big surprise and all that. I think if you follow our ball club the second half of the season and you add some of the ingredients that we added during the off season, you can tell that we were going to be a better club. And I'm not surprised. We had that attitude in spring training that we were expected to win in every game. And when we didn't win during the season, it was going to be a shock to us. That was basically the attitude we tried to instill in these guys, and that's the attitude we have. So I'm not surprised by our defense. These guys have a track record of catching the ball. We have 3 great athletes in the outfield that can cover a lot of ground and are good. Our offense, knowing that Grady was going to be back and healthy in Santana, we knew that our offense was going to be better. So right now, I'm sorry, but I just can't sit here and tell you that I'm surprised at anything these guys are doing. I'm not that I'm the minority, but you're a leader, you're a follower.
You read all those predictions. You kind of amused by that privately. You kind of felt you're better than everyone else.
I didn't read many of them. They would flip over to me in emails by friends that still don't understand that I don't want to know what people are saying. So they keep emailing you stuff and sending you Twitter with stuff on it, and I understand that, you know, and I don't hold grudges against you guys on that, because the people that are doubting us today were the people who picked this team to win in 2008, and unfortunately, we didn't win in 2008, so it's understandable, and you have to roll with the punches. I mean, I didn't see anybody here complaining when we were picked to win in 2008, so why complain now when you're not picked to win? You just gotta, what you gotta do is believe in yourself, and our clubhouse is good about that, and taking it one day at a time, enjoying every minute of it, and we'll see what that takes us.
Hey, do you scoreboard watch? Is it too early to do that? You looked at how other teams are doing in the Central right now.
You know, it's kind of early to do that kind of stuff. I don't, you know, right now, if you, I'm sorry, I don't even know who's leading the league in hitting right now. To me, it's too early for me to start looking at all that kind of stuff. I concentrate on my team and the team that I'm playing in the matchups. Can't help it to not score watch. You know why? Because it's in every wall now of the stadium. Times have changed. Before they were in just a corner, or you have to look at it on the paper. Now you can't look at the outfielder without seeing behind them that the White Sox have 6 runs and the other team have 5 or whatever. So you just can't help it. But it's not like I'm not paying attention to a pitch to go look over there. It's there. It's just like your job nowadays, a communication thing. It's there. You just can't ignore it.
Have you been surprised with how the Twins and White Sox have started?
Not paying attention to them. I'm just happy that the Indians are doing good. That's, you know, that's their issue. This is my task at hand, so I don't wish anybody bad. I'm just happy about my team.
Manny, you talked about wanting to win, but you had a team the last 2 years with 93 and 96 losses or whatever it was. So, and frankly, a lot of those guys from 07 are not here. So how do you turn around and say, hey, we think we can win, when frankly, most of the guys right here lost 90-some games?
Well, it's a process, and it took 2 years. And even when people at times will see it that way, we made some progress last year, even on the win and loss column. I mean, 4 games might not look that good, but for you guys to follow the new stats, if you a player who's worth 4 wins in the season has a lot of value, and so does a pitcher. So yeah, it didn't look like a significant progress to some people, but to us it was huge, because we not only won more games, we won it without our best player being hurt, probably our second best, most valuable player because of his defense also being out for 50 games, and with a starting rotation that consisted of guys that nobody even knew what we were going to get out of them. So those are the type of things that we see on an everyday basis here, and a monthly basis, that, you know, your average guys is just sitting 5,000 miles away and going, well, they lost, they won 63 and lost something. You know, we don't go about it that way, and that's why we felt that the second half meant a lot to us, and that it was going to carry over.
Manny, was there, when Masterson started the way he did last year in the first half, was there ever any serious consideration about moving him back to the bullpen at that point?
Not at all. We had committed to you know, to Masterson's start for the whole season, basically, because we recognized the value that he had as you know, the amount of innings that he could throw, and also the fact that our rotation was in the best shape to afford to have a guy like him in the bullpen. We always recognized last year that in the right situation, especially where he came from, you know, he fit in the bullpen. But here, when we're still developing guys like White, Carrasco last year, and Gomez, and now Pomeranz, you know, he was good to go in the rotation, and we were willing to just ignore every criticism about him starting.
You almost look at it as a benefit of where you guys, an unintended benefit of where you guys were last year. Not a lot of teams would have been able to have that kind of patience if they're in a situation like you guys are in this year.
Yeah, because we were committed, and we knew last year that it was going to be a rebuilding year. We never, you know, we're never never ran away from that fact, that we knew that it was gonna be a rebuilding year. No one was jumping around here and thinking, pennant. Because if that was the case, when those guys went down, we wouldn't call up guys like Donald and Crow and those guys that were just part of our system that were even struggling in AAA. It wasn't like they were setting the league on fire. So we knew that we were going to have to take our lumps, and it takes a couple of years before you can gain some experience and then add some pieces and then have a competitive team on the field.
What makes him go from a 13-game loser to 5-0 this year? It's just maturation of the pitcher, made some changes.
I think he has improved his mechanics in a way where he's able to repeat his delivery more often. For him, it's just a matter of pitching ahead of the count, and that's been a drastic change for him over the last 6 weeks, last year and this year. He stayed away from mid innings. Last year, if you guys can remember, things just snowball on him, and before you could get a drink of water, you were trailing by 5, and then he battled back, and when he's 5-6 innings, pitch count was up all the time. Now, he doesn't have those big innings. He's keeping the damage under control, and he does have one big innings he gets back into it, and going deeper to a point where he has come out of some games. Even a low pitch count, when we have asked him to save those pitches for later. Seems like most of his starters have been able to get through the 6 innings.
Give them a couple runs early, but that's it. What's the difference this year? Same guys. What's the difference this year?
Baseball is repetition, and Tim Belcher and Scott Rodinsky deserve as much credit as anybody here, because this thing started last year from spring training, but it takes time, especially for young guys, to buy into it and get it done. And they never stopped preaching it. They never got impatient, and they just kept at it. The second half of the season, we saw some results, and then guys, once they see the results, they buy into it more and want to do it. And it was just a very small percentage of first pitch strike that made that huge difference in the second half of the season. And they both have been tremendous. They know how to deal with these kids. They're patient when they have to be patient. They're straightforward when they have to be straightforward. And they do a tremendous job. And especially Radinsky with our bullpen too, where he lived there for over 10 years in the big league. So we got a good mix of guys too, not only in our rotation but in the bullpen. Understand their roles and get they prepare themselves for whatever situation there is. And is it going to stay like this the whole season? We're going to be we're going to have some up and downs like everybody else, but for the most part, I think our bullpen is going to be pretty good.
What do you consider percentage of first pitch strikes? Is there a figure you guys shoot for on that?
Yeah, you always want to be over 60% as a staff. If it happens as a staff, you're in business. It's tough even to get it as a staff at 60%.
What do you guys at?
Overall, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
But individual pitchers are different sometimes.
Yeah, that's why it goes 57, 53, because there's going to be a guy like the guy pitching today for us who's going to be up here, and there are going to be other guys that probably are power pitcher or sinker ballers that are going to be here and can balance it out. That's rude.
I don't know why he's leaving. I thought you had to do that in the middle of it, don't you?
We got some rules here.
Man, did you see any similarities between what Tampa Bay went through this offseason, this past offseason, what the Indians went through the last couple of years with personnel, and just kind of starting over?
they lost some position players, but the pitching is there. That's what's so important. The difference here was that, you know, the pitching was, those two guys were the one that went away. And when you have pitching, you have a chance to stay in the game and win ball games. They're kind of similar to us right now. You know, they pitch good and they catch the ball. And that was the difference. I mean, they lost Peña and they lost Crawford, but
Bartlett and someone.
Bartlett, yeah. But it's just pretty important, and they pretty much kept it there.
Manny, with that, how about tonight's guy? Just talk about him, your approach with him.
You know, he's a strike thrower. He's very similar to Josh. They're a strike thrower and makes their pitches well, and he's not going to walk guys to hurt himself, but we're going to have to swing the bat, and then it goes both ways. So he's, I understand he's a local guy too. I mean, he's in the area, so, but we're going to see. It's two similar guys, two teams that can play defense, so we'll see who swings the bat the best.
Oh, that's where you're